There could be some amazing job opportunities for you right now, don't even realize it. One of the main reasons is usajobs.gov, the website to find government jobs, is somewhat confusing. The first thing you should do once you've created an account is go ahead and type in the location, your city and state, in the search bar. Let's type in Richmond, Virginia for an example. You can actually put multiple cities in there if you want. Okay, after that, you will notice by default there will be a 25-mile radius. This is something that you can adjust by going to more filters and looking at the distance scale. You could do it more than 25 miles or less. So if your area doesn't have very many government jobs, I would go ahead and move the scale more. This also depends, are you willing to commute further in order for that job opportunity? The next thing that you should do is go back to top filters, scroll down to salary, and now scroll the salary scale to the minimum that you're willing to accept. For this example, I'm going to put $90,000 a year. The reason that I would do it by pay scale or salary amount is you might not be familiar with GS grades. You might not even know what GS grade you're eligible for. But one thing that you should know is how much money you need to earn to keep your lifestyle or to survive. So that's the reason I would do it by actual pay scale instead of GS grade. Now, this search will pull up salaries lower than $90,000. The $90,000 is essentially within that range. So if there's a job that's between $75,000 and $100,000, it's going to populate. It's going to show up during this search. Also, in the federal government, you are able to negotiate your salary by negotiating the step level. This is for people that are coming into the government, whether you're in the private sector or maybe you're coming out of the military. You still have the ability to do this, but the agency has the final word. So almost every federal agency, they're going to offer you, when it comes time to the job offer, they're offering you step one. Doesn't matter the GS grade. It could be GS 12, GS 13. You will see on your job offer letter, it'll say step one. So when you receive that tentative job offer, that is when you're replying saying, I accept this job offer, but I also want to enter into a step negotiation. You do this by submitting a memo. Now, if you're still looking for federal government jobs, I would suggest you attend virtual hiring events for these federal government agencies. I send a list out every week. If you want me to send it to you, sign up to my free newsletter down below. Okay, the next thing that you should do is scroll down beneath the salary scale and filter by job series. I've talked to so many people in the past who completely ignore this function. Instead, they just type in what they're looking for. So if they're looking to be an administrative assistant, they'll just type in administrative assistant and they'll click search. And that's not as effective as targeting a job series and searching by that job series. So I would highly encourage you to do it. When you click series, you can then scroll through hundreds of job series. Some of these titles are self-explanatory, like 0200 is human resources, 0500 is finance, but others are a little bit more complicated. So in this case, you should Google the OPM Job Series Handbook 2018 edition. It's a 200-page document and it describes each and every job series. You need to search this document with the skills and abilities that you have. So let's say, for example, you have experience dealing with budgets. We're going to do Control F and type in budget. The search for budget comes up over 20 times. This is because there's multiple job series that deals with budgets. It's completely normal to be eligible and qualified for multiple job series. The problem a lot of people have is they get fixated on just one job series and they ignore everything else they could be eligible to do. And this is because they've been doing it for so long. And essentially what you're doing is you're putting yourself in a box and you're saying, all I can do is 0301, which is administration. All I can do is that, even though you have other skills and abilities. So you really want to think, what other job series could I be eligible for? I'm only going to select 0343 and 0560, which are both jobs that may deal with analyzing budgets. After selecting your job series, you can scroll up, save the search. After you save it, the website will ask you, how often do you want them to email you with new job announcements? You want to save the search because otherwise you're going to have to input all these filters again, and that's time consuming. Don't do that. You can have multiple saves. So for one filter, you can say, this is my New York City job search. right? The next one could be, this is my San Francisco job search. Or you can say, this is my 0300 job search. And then you can save something else that this is my 1700 job search. So go ahead and have 2 or 3 searches if that benefits your situation. All right, for budget jobs, we can see here that we have over 100 government job opportunities within a 25-mile radius of us in Richmond with a salary of over $90,000 a year. You can go ahead and scroll through all of these jobs now, find the ones that interest you, and start applying to these jobs. But before you do that, hold on just a second. You need to take another look at your resume. Make sure that resume is squared away. Make sure it's tight and locked in on the job series. Not just the job series, but look at the job announcement. In the specialized experience area, you're going to pull verbs. You're going to pull keywords out of there. You're going to go up, look at the duties section. Same thing, pull out those keywords. Make sure they're in your resume. That is what's going to give you the highest probability of success. Now, there's a few filters we didn't talk about. The first one is agency. And you should leave this alone. There's so many people that come into the government job search and they're thinking, I want to work for NASA, or I want to work for the Department of Justice, and that's it. And what I would encourage most people to do is do not take a laser focus approach on the agency. Leave it open to all agencies. There's over 400 federal agencies. And one of the first objectives is to get you into the federal government. Once you're in the government, let's say you're in the competitive service. After a few years now, you have tenure. You might be able to move around a little bit easier. Another one is remote work, telework. So telework is the ability to work from home, but you're still expected to come into the office. And remote work is there's no expectation. You're essentially living wherever you want within our country, and you're remote work. You're working from the house. Now, with this remote work, it's a lot harder to get in. You can still do it with a strong resume and consistency. You can still do it, but telework is going to be easier. Most administrative government jobs have a teleworking option. Then we have the security clearance. So there's a filter in there. If you do not want to work a job that has a clearance, a top secret or a secret, then you can filter that out and you will search for jobs that do not have a clearance requirement. One of the reasons people do not like clearances is it adds more time to the hiring process. So if you're in a job right now, you don't like it, you can't stand it, you're looking for the exit door, you're trying to get out, you don't want to make the hiring process any longer than it has to be. And for that reason, you might decide, let me go ahead and exclude these clearance jobs. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, but what if you're missing the actual experience part? There's a few ways you can get experience. One of the ways is you go ahead and work a salary job and you get the experience. Another way is you volunteer. Volunteer when you have free time and you're building up the skills and abilities necessary to get the next job that you're trying to target. And minimum wage experience, something that's often discounted, is still experience. There's a lot of skills you could have earned, you could have gained while you're working a minimum wage job, so don't discount it. The final thing you must know, you have to be consistent. You have to develop the habit. You have to get after it daily and keep plugging away. Despite not getting any results, despite not hearing the referrals or the interviews, it doesn't matter. If you're confident in your resume, then what you're doing will produce the results. It's just a matter of time. Now, if you're looking for a federal government job and you have more questions about the hiring process, I did a live stream recently, answered over a dozen questions about the federal hiring process, about usajobs.gov and different government jobs. If you're interested in that, I want you to watch this video next. If you would like to see more videos like this, please click like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.